Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your boy Jay. It's the Digital Revolution podcast. The revolution will not be televised. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the ones who are watching, who are tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for, any likes and any subscriptions that I have for the subscribers that I do have. And hopefully my channel can continue to grow and I can continue to grow and speaking extemporaneously, which is speaking off the top of my head, and to just share information about the current times that we're living in. I think a lot of people are, not necessarily speaking out, but now is the time, to get together and to speak our mind about the current situation that we see ourselves in. So guys, bear with me. It's your boy Jay. It's the Digital Revolution podcast. Bear with me. Tonight we have a special night. We're going to go over some Catherine Austin Fitts, who I'm obsessed with. I love Catherine. I've been a big fan and I've been studying Catherine for many years now. And man, time is just flying by. And then after that segment, then we have Ask the Oracle, and we're going to be asking the Oracle in a whole separate video about Donald Trump, about Pam Bondi, and just asking for predictions about the future and whatever else we can think of, maybe even some bonus questions. So I know that some of these videos are really long, and I'm going to try to make them shorter, but guys, bear with me. I'm not like a newscast or anything like that. I'm just, your average Joe Schmo guy or whatever. And, so hopefully this is recording. Hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. Let me make sure all my levels is up or whatever. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're receiving the love that you deserve and that you need. I hope people that are in bad relationships are out of those bad toxic relationships. I hope people that have gotten fired have found a new inspiration in their life. And I just only hope for the best for this planet, because this planet is going through a lot. Guys, this is one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because this planet here, the only planet that we have, that we know of right now, is going through a lot. We're going through a lot of transitions. The last time that we talked, we were talking about equities. We'll go over equities very quickly, but the last time we talked, I said that basically the stock market is crashing, but it's crashing little by little, and having this conversation about the stock market is crashing and it's crashing little by little. My puppy's so sorry guys if my puppy makes some noise, but he's being a little cantankerous right now. But we were talking about in the last podcast, yes, Bitcoin, $1.14 trillion crash in total since the high. And Bitcoin, we have Bitcoin crashing, but yeah, and then when we pulled back, we saw all these other stocks and equities basically collapsing. JP Morgan Chase Bank 13%, Netflix 44%, KKR 50%. What's going on with private equity, guys? What's going on with the money? Into down 56%. So when we started to look back at these different indices and equities, and I haven't even covered the bond market, but from what I understand, the bond market, the bonds is worthless. So basically the stock market is collapsing, and then the major indices of the Dow and the S&P 500 continue to rise, and that's the only thing that's really keeping up this market is the major indices. Is the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500, with the exception probably of other few stocks. I forget the complete capitalization of the entire stock market, but is it $120 trillion, or is it more than that? $120 trillion, or is it $200 trillion? Was the entire, dollar amount of all the, capital that is invested into the stock market? We're gonna have to ask ChatGPT that. You know what? I don't want to make this too long, but let's ask ChatGPT that real quick. How much actually is the entire stock market worth? Chat, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Yep, absolutely. The
Okay.
stock market can be a bit complex, but
No, it's Chat.
Got it.
Chat's
If
got a
you're
mind of
looking
his
for a
own.
refresher or have a
Chat.
specific question,
Chat. I just need to know what is the entire dollar amount of the stock market? How much cash is actually in the entire stock market, in the U.S. stock market? And then we get to
As of early 2026, the total market capitalization of the U.S. stock market was about $69 trillion. Some estimates place it between 69 and 89 trillion, depending on the scope and methodology. This figure tracks all publicly traded companies listed in the U.S. markets like the NYSE, NASDAQ, and OTC.
Okay, I'm gonna start take off chat because chat is bugging, and you know chat be hallucinating. And the last time I checked, though, chat says it's 69 trillion and 89 trillion, but I believe that it's about 120 trillion, maybe even more than that. Remember, we learned from people like Jim Whaley, who is a doctorate in statistics, that they follow. There's people that follow the flow of money, and that we can't even understand economics without understanding drug trafficking, child trafficking, money laundering. You can even understand economics without understanding those components and how those components work into the stock market. Because what you see is, as Martin Armstrong said, we have a lot of capital flows from Europe coming into the main, to the Dow. You have that money from Europe coming into the Dow, and that's what's pushing up the Dow for now. But then you also have a lot of drug money, a lot of money laundering that goes into the stock market. But you never hear economists talk about this component. We hear talks about NVIDIA, a lot of drug money. I just say allegedly. I'm just going to say allegedly. But I digress. So, let's get to the main topic, which was we're going to review Catherine Austin Fitts. And I really, really want to get into this. So, and I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to break this up into two segments. But let me share this here. Hopefully you guys can see me. You can hear me. This is Catherine Austin Fitts talking about FASB 56, guys. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me. Anyways, so
by 2019, every thread Epstein had been routing was institutionalized. And that's key because 2019 is when Epstein died. You see, the system does not need a switchboard operator. Once the wiring is in the walls, what the emails document is the construction of a society whose economics have been re-engineered around a social good, supposedly, a common ethic with AI as the enforcement mechanism and the Sustainable Development Goals as that ethic. The moral authority of the Sustainable Development Goals, that's the system's most important assets. There are 17 goals that no decent person can oppose. End poverty, clean water, blah, blah, blah. The system claims it serves 17 goals to help 8 billion people. I don't think that's right. The purpose of a system is what it does.
Clearly, what they believed was the cover story for central control. And it divided into sort of two groups. One is impact investing and, ESG and all that kind of stuff. The other is climate change. And you can see they've bounced back and forth and competed over, are we going to use carbon and climate change, or are we going to use, helping people?
What's the story?
Investing in ESG and climate change. Guys, man, climate change is deep. I mean, we got so many smart people that are for it. You have, some people in the investment sector that say, when they look at cycles, they say, well, it was hot when Jesus was around. And then you have the premier leading geoengineers that say that, we're going into a cooling, actually. And I tend to believe that we are going into a cooling because Martin Armstrong and I believe Dane Wigington, don't quote me on this, but Dane Wigington and a few other very smart people say that we're actually going into a cooling cycle. And so, sorry if I cut that off there, but I think that ESG is a scam. Catherine Austin Fitts is talking about centralization. Well, the name of the game is centralization. It's just consolidating power into just to one core group of people. We talk about this all the time. The Bank of International Settlements controls the G7 nations, and they are allegedly depopulating. But let's continue.
The week.
They clearly use that as a cover story.
Yes.
But the important part of the story is figuring out the nuts and bolts technology and applied engineering of how to implement the programmable money. So if you look at where he's going and what he's investing in, so he's a venture capitalist who's seeding the prototypes. But then once the prototypes get tested out and they basically have tested their design, then they're ready to institutionalize, and then they don't need him anymore. There are two very critical dates. If you look at Epstein's,
Yeah, she's talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
in October 2018, they implement FASB 56, okay? Now they take
FASB 56, Donald Trump signed FASB 56. Now, again, I'm not for or against Donald Trump. I'm technically a libertarian, a free-thinking, independent, moderate libertarian. I'm neither Republican or Democrat. I'm independent. I'm right in the middle, what you call a moderate. But, Donald Trump, he did sign FASB 56, guys. And basically, FASB 56 says that we, the people, the sovereign citizens of the United States, cannot audit the government, cannot audit the books of the government. And let me tell you right now, baby, all the collapse of the dollar, Catherine Austin Fitts is talking about programmable money because the dollar is collapsing. And once the whole Rockefeller Rothschild dollar syndicate, once they hyperinflate that currency away, they want the privilege to go into a whole nother currency, which is the programmable money. But guys, FASB 56, we cannot audit the government. And as the government is collapsing and people start to realize that their money is worthless in these different socioeconomic and tax brackets, and as the states and the government start to tax more, and particularly the states are going to have to tax more to provide more for the welfare state, people are going to start asking for an internal forensic auditing of the government and of the states. So I digress, but let's continue on with the great Catherine Austin Fitts. Bam.
50% of what he's doing as a venture capitalist, they don't need him anymore. They can channel as much money as they want from the federal government on an institutional basis into anything they want. So literally you pass FASB 56 and suddenly Moderna has 500 million that magically pops up, to do the pandemic. So you
Damn, wait a minute. So, wow. Yo, when I heard this, I'm like, Catherine Austin Fitts is dropping bombs, guys. Like, this is like a major revelation. Like, and people that study economics and people that study this stuff, like we hear about the exchange stabilization fund, which controls the stock market. It's the backstop for the stock market. In the event that the stock market should collapse, the exchange stabilization fund, and we know this from Rob Kirby, Rob Kirby passed away, God bless him. And we know that from Jim Willey and from Rob Kirby, and we know from other economists like Maneko, who they talk about the exchange stabilization fund and BlackRock controlling the stock market, and they have a backstop to the stock market because BlackRock controls the portfolio for the government. And basically she's saying that now the Fed, with FASB 56, they can inject whatever money they want into these companies. Particularly, they Catherine Austin Fitts is saying that they put $500 million, I guess I should say allegedly, into Moderna, which is one of the big pharmaceutical companies. So it's always going back to military-industrial complex, financial-industrial complex, Hollywood industrial complex, which Hollywood is going away. Everybody sees that. Like, there's no money left in Hollywood. But damn, like, let me back that up.
Institutionalized, to do the pandemic. So you institutionalize
let's hear that again.
FASB 56, and suddenly Moderna has 500 million that magically pops up, to do the pandemic. So you institutionalize the tech.
So basically, Catherine Austin Fitts is saying that Moderna was involved with the pervasive sickness. So they created it in a lab, and they profitized off of that, and then the subsequent vaccination, they also profit from it, and all the other accoutrements and paraphernalia that float around that the pharmaceutical companies made out like a bandit. So she's saying that the Fed injected liquidity into Moderna in order for them to carry out the pandemic. Guys, this is some heavy shit. I hope you guys are with me. It's your boy Jay. It's the Digital Revolution Podcast. We are reviewing Catherine Austin Fitts. Guys, please like and subscribe, guys. We're in the Mercury retrograde. After this segment, we're going to be asking the Oracle. Guys, this is so much fun. Guys, please tune in, like and subscribe. Let's continue on with Catherine Austin Fitts. I'm having fun. I'm on the clock. I haven't been on the board in a while, but guys, I'm on the clock. Fuck with your boy.
And then you institutionalize the finance with FASB 56. And here's the critical date. You're coming into a meeting in Jackson Hole where they're all going to review the BlackRock plan, Carney and all these guys.
Yo, BlackRock is so evil, yo. You can just feel their energy. Like, their energy is just like, you know what? I believe BlackRock has a machine that can tell the future. I believe they call it Aladdin, but I believe Aladdin is, they have the algorithms that they can tell the future. They may even be able to teleport. We'll get more into the portals and the Nikola Tesla technology and the advanced technology. The military is like 100 years in advance, and they have the technology that you can be home and they could just come into your house through portals. And I know that sounds crazy, but I guess as we get deeper and deeper into the conversation, we can get into it. But let's continue on.
Have come up with to do the going direct reset. And before you meet and agree to that, you want to clean out this operation. And so literally Epstein is suicided, or moved.
Yeah.
What was it? 9 days?
That's what I got to ask the Oracle. Is Epstein still alive?
Before they review the going direct reset and then proceed into the markets in September. It's like a snake dropping the skin, shedding the last skin.
Wow.
You're ready. FASB 56 and the tech institutionalized his operation. You don't need a venture capitalist seeding this.
Also, people are starting to make a connection between the financial aspects of Jeffrey Epstein and the company called Plantier, and for lack of a better word, if you guys ever seen that movie Minority Report, they working on this like freaky technology where they can see into the future, which goes back into BlackRock, which goes back into what Epstein was investing into. But he was a venture capitalist for all these major banks to experiment on, basically, like, the government and the phone companies and Google and everything. They're spying on us, and everything we say and do, they're basically spying on us. And I'm just going to say allegedly because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just going to say allegedly. This is all for entertainment purposes, allegedly. But yeah, they're all spying on us and Jeffrey Epstein. And I think Elon Musk is plugged into, he inherited whatever Jeffrey Epstein was doing in terms of the technological base of it, in terms of spying, collecting all this data on people and the infrastructure of that. I believe Elon Musk is into that. And so, Catherine Austin Fitts is talking about, she's dropping bombs. Like when she said the Fed is poured money, that they can just pour money into a pharmaceutical company, that they can basically commit genocide. And this is what I've been saying. It was like these people are committing genocide because we cannot ask for a forensic accounting of the government books. And as we go forward into the collapse, and as people get real fucked up and they start to lose it, and AI takes all the jobs, because they say in 2 years 90% of all the jobs will be taken by AI. People are going to want to know exactly what the government did, because when you have the government and you have the banks together, that is considered fascism. Anyways, I digress. But the legendary Catherine Austin Fitts, she's dropping bombs, guys.
Anymore.
Oh, that was it. But anyway, so yeah, that was Catherine Austin Fitts. Tune into Catherine Austin Fitts. And I'm going to try to make this one short, because the next segment we're going to be doing Ask Oracle, and we're going to be asking the Oracle some questions. Equities was a little change today. Looked like some of the bleeding stopped, but we have some slight sell-off, and I'm just going to cover the major indices, but we had a slight sell-off in the Dow. Looks like we had continued sell-off in the Dow, but it looks like it's a supported trend. It was only 3%, but it's still close to the all-time high. Looks like we have some strong support, but the Dow does look like it's consolidating at the moment, so it did trigger some of the stop losses on the computers, but Ichimoku is basically saying for the day, maybe you should get out of this, but it looks like it has some strong support. Can't tell you whether to get in or stay in it, but it looked like there was some minor sell-off in there. It looks like it's consolidating. Yeah, again, we're consolidating here. Chart is looking the same. You know what? Sometimes all these charts look all the same. So basically, BlackRock, the Exchange Stabilization Fund, and the Fed are controlling these markets. Yeah, so S&P 500, little change. The NASDAQ, probably little change too. Yeah, they're all starting to look the same. NASDAQ looking like it's kind of below the cloud, so it's consolidating and it's kind of going a little bit below the cloud, but it's still close to its all-time high. Gold is, Bitcoin. We continue to have a major sell-off in Bitcoin. Last time I checked, I think this was like 50%. We're still in the sweet spot. Look like it's holding us fast, guys. This area of support between 70,000 and this, I'm just gonna say 50,000 K is the sweet spot. If it can break above the 73,000, then looks like we may have some more support for this trend in Bitcoin. That we have support if it holds above the 73 K, but if it falls below to its 60,000 mark on its Fibonacci, then we're going to have continued selling. So the next few quarters and trading sessions are going to be very, very important for Bitcoin because we have a major sell-off in Bitcoin. Bitcoin may crash the entire stock market. Look like gold is strong. Looks like we're not at the all-time high, which was really high. The all-time high in gold was $5,597. Rising price of gold is an indication of a failing currency. It means the government is collapsing. We have a price target of gold of 100K. If gold goes to 100K, that means that you will not be able to leave your house. Means that we're in Mad Max. It means, like my sister says, we're in Handmaid's Tale, guys. The rising price of gold is scary. It means that civilization is collapsing, basically. Believe that silver also too, we have a price target of silver for $600 an ounce of silver. Same thing. Rising price of silver is about the same thing. We go to $600 silver, maybe the cops is not going to show up. The cops is not coming. Okay, so those are the major indices. Little changed. Let me just pull up the next screen and give you a taste of what we're going to be doing in the next. Hopefully you guys can see me. Yeah, so we're going to be asking the Oracle, stock market predictions, Donald Trump predictions, Pam Bondi predictions, United States predictions, Jeffrey Epstein predictions. Is he dead? Oops. Is he dead or alive? I want to know. Yeah, so we're going to be asking the Oracle, guys. Hope everybody is safe and doing well. And I just pray for everybody for protection, love, and peace. See you on the next video.